All right, so now on to the last step, which I think we are getting very close to the end. So I got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so I got 9 colors now. I'm kind of a little beyond my point that I'm getting to 8. So we're gonna see what we can do. But now I'm going to focus on getting the drop shadow into. Again, let's get rid of all this stuff. And of course, this has a gradient from brown to yellow. And I do want to make that manually. Even though the vector artwork was nice and crisp and supplied it, in Illustrator, it is not accurate how it does it, and it has a certain algorithm that will only do it a certain way. I particularly don't like it, so we're going to kind of manually just change it, just to be on our game. First, I'll duplicate this black channel that we did, just as for a template, and I'm going to adjust the curves so we can get rid of all the shadows out of the inner text, and again, make sure it's dark as possible. Again, this channel is going to be deleted. I have my dark brown channel, which we're probably going to use this fill on. So we're going to use this. I'm going to use my selection tool. I see tolerance is okay, point sample is okay, and is this going to work? Okay, so let's do the eagles first, because I know that's a curved area there, a little bit more difficult. So I'm selecting all the inside channels by holding down shift on the eagle. I am going to go to my dark brown channel and now select my gradient tool here, and we've got it set for black to white. I am going to manually, because I find it nicer to create my own do design in Photoshop than Illustrator. I always leave at least 5% at the top versus, and maybe 90-80% at the bottom. Jesus Christ, fucking mouse. Out of the bottom. You gotta always think of printing on t-shirts. You got a 25 to 30% dot gain, especially when you go on top of bases and that. So you want to compensate for that, and it should actually work out better than printing it right out of the box or file that you get. Shit, what did I just do with that? Alright, so now that we got just like Eagles 3850 selected, here's a cool trick. So let's say we want to save that selection, so we don't have to do it again. And in case for emergencies for later, we are going to save the selection part. And that's just the dancing ants, or marching ants is what they call it. And we're going to just name it, let's just do Eagles text. So we save it. So now if I disappear the ants and I gotta go back, hey, I don't want to select this all again. I can do select, load selection, and then actually look for the Eagles text and hit OK. So now your selection is saved. And really, if you look down in the channels, it has a channel specifically kind of saved for that. So it's very cool that if you have to go back or do something, great. So I already know that when I did my black copy, it had gradients in there. So it looks like I got rid of it. But to be sure, I am going to go ahead and delete and make sure that there is absolutely nothing in there. Go to my dark brown channel, which I think I did, I guess, in the, must have already did already, that I didn't know about. But so I went ahead and made the manual gradient into the dark brown channel. So I see I still got it in the light tan. Command or control delete, I'm getting rid of that in that channel and any other channel except for yellow. Now yellow is going to be the blend of it, but okay, what else? What other channels I got besides the white base? Of course, I want to leave it in the white base. So now I already know. Okay, it's in that alone. I'm going to go back to my black copy again. I'm going to zoom in, and now I'm going to select on everything else here, holding shift down. Select all the inside of the Apache junction. Motion. Oh, there's my cat, and just fighting. Ignore them because they can continue while I select all this stuff. Alright, so I'm going to zoom out. Too much. In. Same thing with the Apache junction. I am going to go to my dark brown channel and do a gradient that I am happy with as far as of course I'm going to go this way. I can sit here and play around with this all day so I get a nice medium happy, and this is making sure that it's good. Hey, I never like 100% black here and 0% here. Your fade, it will not print ever on the press correctly. Again, so if you have, let's say you bring your inspection tool up here. So I got about 6% here and I got about 70% here. So your 71% on a base is going to fill in about 90%. So it's going to go ahead and have a nice thing, and depending on the exposure unit, 7%, you're kind of on a safe line. If you have it 0 there, you're just going to have this really choppy, unbroken, even, and that just does not quite look that good. So doing artwork, I actually think about all the different exposure units and different variables that could be happening and trying to make it work best for everything. So now we're going to work on the Lost Dutchman mine, which in Illustrator there is always just a straight curve thing that going on. So this one I'm going to actually try to see if I can figure out how to do. So we're going to, of course not on that one, on the dark brown channel, we are going to make it again less at the top, not so much, but more at the bottom. Okay, that's not too bad. And now we are going to select the next reference next and try to kind of evenly get it to work out correctly. Go back to my dark brown and kind of make it uniform. I'm going to zoom out a little bit just to see the Lost Dutchman. It's kind of weird that, like, yes, maybe I should have just selected the DUCK. Actually, I'm going to do that. I'm going to Command Z, go back to the black copy, hit Shift, unselect this. No, it doesn't work. Okay, forget it. Now we'll go back and do 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try that. Go back to the dark brown. Try our magic on here. A little bit at the top. A little bit down. So maybe I'll do it right at the edge. And we can definitely do it just to curves afterwards. So that's not horrible. Go back to my copy. Do the H, M, A. How about that? Okay. Go back to my dark brown. And try to make it, oops. Command Z. try to duplicate this kind of curved line thing. Good, and I guess I just have one more. And from the top, drag it below the bottom. And it looks a little bit more uniform than before. So, but now the bottom looks a little bit lighter than the top. So I'm going to select it, adjust the curves on the bottom only. Just by a little bit. Just darken it a little bit. Hit OK. Alright, so now we can kind of... Actually, I should have gone back to this black copy. Now I get to select... Make sure I select all of this stuff inside and delete from every other channel that should not be printing with that color. So the base, in case if there's something there, I'm going to hit delete. Yellow we want, light tan we don't need, dark brown is what we just did, green nothing's there, and so forth. So again, this was just a temp file just for us to be able to select. I'm deleting that now. Again, looking at my print order now. Got my shirt, got my white, got my highlight white, my grayish. I think I will probably go with a little bit lighter grayish blue too. So I'm gonna just kind of change that now. And actually I'm going to go with a little darker yellow, maybe golden yellow. Okay. Light tan. Got my dark brown. But now I think I'm going to make my brown a little bit darker. Probably like a dark brown actually now. Think about it. Okay. Green, light blue, which I think light blue can go there, and next my black copy. My brown maybe needs to be a little bit more brown, not kind of blackish brown. It's kind of weird to get that color that you want. Maybe something like that. I think the brown is kind of not that visible as I want, but when again you get on the press, you can fool around with mixing up the colors. Again, knowing that there's dot gain on the press, I don't want to get that value of this dark brown too high of losing all this stuff. The only thing I say is matching the bottom value to this value. I do want to increase this a little bit. So just selecting that only, going up, and just a little bit off the top. Okay, that's a little bit better. Got my green, black. Alright, so we got, where are we at colors wise? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Got 9 colors. This bound kind of looks weird to me, but it probably will kind of blend in. Let's see what is the normal.